Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Drive Fitness Podcast. My guest for today's episode is Charlie DeVoe. Charlie and I sit down to talk about a severe injury that he encountered, his recovery process, and how he got back into shape once the recovery process was over. Charlie and I talk about his philosophies in fitness and life in general. Charlie also beta tested our app back in 2018, and he gives us a little bit of user feedback. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, so one of the main things I wanted to talk about with Charlie here on the show today was recovering over an injury. And this is a story that I was actually there for, so I'm going to interject at times just because I was literally there when it happened. Charlie, can you tell us about the time that you broke your leg?
Yeah, so I mean, it was sophomore year of high school. It was a game, I believe, against Fairfax. It was at Fairfax High School in our area. There was a run up the middle, and I was playing defensive end, so I was on defense on the line. And there was a run up the middle, and I see the running back, and I go to make the tackle. And when I go to make the tackle, there's one of our other players who comes in to make the tackle as well, and it's raining. So he slips off of the tackle or of the running back, and his helmet goes into my leg, which is planted with the cleats.
Mm-hmm.
And that when that helmet hit my leg, I guess my bone, my tibia and fibula, is a compound fracture. So it popped out of my skin. I remember rolling up and being like, yo, something is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Something hurt. Like, this is not right. So I tried to stand, and then I put weight on my left leg, which is the one I broke, and I just felt it completely give. And I looked down briefly as I was falling, and I see my leg just bent the wrong way, like you see in videos, like that.
Oh,
and at that point, I just started screaming. I was like, someone needs to help me. It's like, I need attention. I need medical attention.
Yeah, I remember sitting on the sidelines, and it was like pouring rain on our helmets, dude, and you're just screaming for like 20 or 25 minutes, dude. It was the most horrific thing I've ever witnessed. And I could kind of like get glimpses of your leg too.
It felt surreal, you know? All of a sudden, everyone's rushing towards me. And I remember squeezing our head coach's hand as he's talking to me. And I'm like, Coach, what's wrong? And he looked down at my leg briefly, looks back up at me, and he goes, I think you broke it. And I'm like, I think so too.
Yeah, he's like staring at your bone. Like I think it could
popped
be broken.
Out, bleeding. Like,
oh gosh, dude. Oof. That's rough. And so they didn't have a good doctor on staff, and so they like left your leg open overnight.
They didn't have the proper surgeon to do the surgery that night. So the entire night they just spent digging AstroTurf out of my open wound to keep it clean.
Yeah, dude.
Until a surgeon would arrive at like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. the next morning.
AstroTurf can get all in there, dude.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Especially in an open wound with your bone. Like, it's not good.
Not good. So night passes, surgeon comes in the morning. They get you sewn up, right?
Mm-hmm. The first surgery was performed to put a rod inside my bone that would stabilize the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's stabilized, they think it could grow together, or it could be fixed.
A metal cylinder that like went over your bone?
No, it's a rod that goes inside your bone.
In the bone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Goes inside your bone, and then it acts as a brace.
Yeah.
That didn't work because it got infected.
Okay.
They took my bandages off, and out of my leg is just leaking pus.
Oh.
In fact, screams infection. And my dad is with me. He works in the OR, in the operating room.
Okay.
And he's with me, and he actually knows what's going on. He knows it's bad news when you see pus in a big wound like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually faints. So
your dad faints?
It made my dad faint. So my dad was in a hospital bed next to me.
I've never seen my dad faint, dude. That's got to be...
My dad, yeah.
That's got to be intense.
Faints. They put him in a bed next to me. It was hilarious.
Jesus.
I mean, looking at it now, it's hilarious. But so they try a bunch of methods. One of the methods they try is they put another rod in that has antibiotics built in. So it's supposed to release into your leg and clear the infection.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried 2 of those, and that didn't work. So at this point, I've had, I believe, 4 or 5 surgeries, just whatever, to try and clear it and to try and put those rods in. Basically, the doctor says, there's really nothing more I can do with the situation. You need to seek out a specialist.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm laying with the leg that doesn't work and is dying every day. The specialist basically goes, we're going to put him in an external fixator. And most people don't know what that is. It looks like a bird cage from hell. It's this big metal device around your leg, not even inside it, around it. Okay. With pins that go inside your leg, through your bone.
I remember that.
And every day, I think it was once a day, you would take a wrench, like a wrench you'd find in your garage. You take a wrench and you twist the screw on the outside
Ooh.
ever so slowly, just to a certain amount. So every day you get that bone to grow.
More
like
and more.
you could technically make yourself taller with this device, but
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm trying to give you.
Kind of reminds me of
idea.
like a retainer that you would crank.
It's
in
like
your
a
mouth,
retainer,
but
yeah.
It shaped your whole leg, not.
Yeah, because
not just your mouth,
I had
yeah.
26 pins going through my toes, my leg, everything.
God.
So with these pins, you twist it every day, and it gets your bone to grow, to lengthen, and then once the bone can touch, it'll be healed. The infection will clear, and your bone will heal.
Okay.
Which is so crazy, but so I had that on for 8 months, and it worked. It cleared the infection. It was like everything was like doing better after a year and a half. I missed my whole sophomore year of school. I came back with this thing on, and then now came the hard part. Now came rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Now came going to rehab every single day with just infinite amount of pain.
At the time when they were putting this contraption on your leg, what were the chances of you losing this leg?
So, I mean, this was the last ditch effort.
Okay.
If this didn't work, I would have to lose my leg.
Was there like a percentage put to your foot?
But being that this is kind of like a very mechanical device, it's not a rod in your leg that's supposed to clear an infection with, built-in antibiotics. This is a mechanical device outside your leg, grows your bone. Once your bone can touch, it'll heal.
Okay.
That's the idea of when you keep something splinted, when you break a bone or you break like a finger, you keep it splinted and stiff. So the swelling can go down, it can heal.
So it was shitty, it was last ditch effort, but there was still a lot of hope that this was going to work.
There was a lot of hope just because it was a specialist and this was like basically her bread and butter. But if this didn't work, I don't know what the hell. I'd probably walk in here with a prosthetic leg.
That's so scary, dude.
I know. But fortunately it did.
They take that big mechanical thing off your leg and you're good to go potentially, but now you got to go through physical therapy, or are we missing part of the story?
During this time when it was healing, I basically, after a certain amount of time had passed, I had to learn to walk again with this device on my leg. Mm-hmm. I had to learn to walk again with my leg. It suspends your leg, basically.
Okay.
With pins going through it, suspends your leg. So you have to learn to walk, and that was a very uneasy feeling, trying to walk basically on pins.
In the bottom of your foot?
There's pins going all through your leg, like horizontally.
You're learning to walk on that?
Yeah.
I thought they took that out and then you learned to walk.
Nearing the end of that time, you had to learn to walk
a little bit
with that on, just to like get back into walking.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, it was very uncommon with crutches. You had crutches and everything.
But still, dude, that's fucking.
It was fucked. So then once that comes off, then it gets to the hard part. Then it gets to physical therapy. Then it gets to bending and moving some of your extremities and your toes and your knee that haven't been bent or touched or even worked in a year and a half. And I remember the biggest feat that I accomplished, and I almost cried tears of happiness when I did it, because I was just so much hard work went into it, was getting my knee to bend to 90 degrees. My leg was so straight, it could only bend.
Wow.
I remember 20 degrees was like the first kind of point we knew. And every day my physical therapist would pull on my leg, would just yank it to try and get it to 90 degrees. And I remember it was so difficult. Just even sitting in a chair with your knee bent at 90 degrees was just so difficult. It couldn't be done.
Like, I knew you at that time, but like, wow, like that's rough, dude.
Yeah, no, it was horrible.
Okay.
It was horrible.
So wasn't there some sort of complications after that even still, or you needed 1 or 2 more surgeries to touch it up?
So with the complications after that, I needed surgeries to lengthen my Achilles.
Okay.
Because my ankle physically couldn't bend, so they had to basically cut a little bit of your Achilles and stretch it. I had complications I have arthritis in my ankle now permanently. I'm going to have that for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And that's just because of the rods that were put in originally had dug into my ankle. I had to have many foot surgeries and toe surgeries and ankle surgeries. Just so many complications arose from just a simple broken leg on a football field.
Okay, so what is your like mental state in this time period? Are you cursing God? Like, why me? Is it positive? Like, I can get through this? Where's your head at?
So when the first few surgeries that failed, I had a very negative mentality. I remember after the 3rd rod was put in, I basically was in my hospital room by myself, and I just looked up, begrudgingly just looked up, and I was like, please God, if you make this work, I will forever be in your gratitude, and I will understand everything, and I will be a devout believer and follower, and I will understand that there's a bigger picture to everything.
So you've been to church every Sunday since that moment, or what?
No, because it didn't work.
Oh, it didn't work?
No.
Oh, shit, dude. So that one didn't work?
That one didn't work. That was the last one where the doctor said I'm out of
does that push
here.
you like even further away from God?
So it did push me away originally. Because I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous. Nothing's working. I don't deserve this. I was angry at everything.
Okay.
So it did push me away originally, but sitting here now, being in my state, I feel okay with what happened. I feel like I learned a lot from it.
It seemed like that anger and that frustration for you turned into like getting into really good shape after all of this, right?
Yep.
Did you use that anger and frustration? Is that what fueled all this, or was that just something you would have done either way? Like, how did all that suffering kind of affect you in your fitness life?
I would have a routine where I would get Wendy's or Chipotle, and I used to love just relaxing after this stressful physical therapy session and just eating and watching TV. And that turned into a routine, a dangerous routine. And that led to a horrible weight gain. It led to me feeling terrible about myself. Yeah. I was 212 pounds of just pure fat, of pure not moving. 212 pounds might not seem a lot, but it just when you were 170 and all of a sudden you're 212 pounds without moving a lot or working out.
That's bad.
I was disgusted. And I remember the day everything changed. I stood on a scale and I was 212 pounds, like I said, and I said, this isn't me. This is not me. I grew up, when I was younger, I would do push-ups, sit-ups every morning. This is not me being 212 pounds, hating my life, feeling gross about myself, being tired, sluggish, not me. So I went to a nearby park and I put on the stereotypical, gray hoodie, gray sweatpants. And even though it hurt like hell, I said, fuck this. I'm going to run around this park, run on the trail. It's probably like 2-mile trail. I'm going to run a lap or two and it's going to hurt like a bitch, but I'm going to sweat. And I'm gonna just try and overcome this bullshit that's happened. I felt like good. I was like, you're moving in the right direction. Put you in a good headspace after all these years of bullshit. Started going to the gym. I was still fat, but I started going to the gym. And the first thing I would do every time, I would do 20 minutes of cardio before any workout. And I had no real gym experience. I would do cardio and then I would just do machines just to like learn how to do stuff because it had a little instruction guide. It said, here, push up and here's what it works.
I know within like a year or two, you transformed yourself into not only a very thin in shape person, but you had a lot of muscle going for you.
Yep.
Right? What was that process like?
I used the elliptical and I used the treadmill. Running on these devices would help me lose this fat. It would help me make me a better person. So I really felt good going in there, knowing that every minute you're in there, you're working towards a better version of yourself. So that was the kind of motivation behind it. And I wouldn't just do easy stuff. I would do hard stuff that pushed me and made me feel uncomfortable. I knew if I was feeling uncomfortable, I'd grow from it.
So you would always start your body off right when you were overweight with some cardio, right? To make sure that the workout is starting so that your body is starting to burn calories, and then you would transfer over to weight training.
I analyzed what I needed to attack. I could go get stronger, but I knew I had a belly full of fat, a face full of fat. I looked different. My neck, I looked gross, in my opinion. So I remember. I knew that I had to attack this fat, and by doing that, running, burning calories, sweating, just getting out there and doing it.
I remember you would have us do a lot of abs too. Something that's impressive is that Charlie went from having a big gut. I mean, obviously he was kind of bedridden for like a whole year. So, it's no fault of his own. And then he transformed that, I saw, within like a year to having a 6-pack. So what does it take to kind of do that? I mean, we did a lot of abs, but I think getting abs is a lot of removing fat too. It's not just doing abs.
It was a combination of, just eating better, building those abs while you're eating healthier and just losing the fat. That was super important. So I would always emphasize abs at the end because at the end, nobody wants to do shit. You just finish your workout. You feel good. You high five. Like you feel good. You feel good. Protein time to go rest. But I was like, you know what? We need to earn this. I want to do some abs. Let's do 15-minute ab circuit.
We would do like 30, 40 minutes of abs a lot of days. It was crazy.
And a lot of times we couldn't do all the stuff that we laid out. We do 30 V-ups a minute of Russian twists, 2-minute planks. You can't always do that, and that's the whole point. Push yourself and test yourself. See what your body can do and see how your body is going to react to being in those strenuous circumstances.
A lot of your muscle groups, they need a couple days to recover, where I think this is correct. Abs, you can do them like every day.
I believe abs, biceps, and triceps and calves are pretty quick to recover, whereas things like quads and hamstrings and your pectorals, your chest, a little bit longer.
I just find that whole story very inspirational. It's good to see you here with both your legs, dude, in good ass shape, man. I'm so glad that moment didn't take one of your legs away, dude. Holy shit.
I mean, it was a tough journey. It was a tough journey, but anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. You just gotta have the heart. Just gotta have the heart. You go into the gym to work out your arms, your chest, your legs, your shoulders, your back, but it all comes down to heart. I think that's pretty crazy.
Me too, man. Another main reason I wanted to have Charlie on the podcast is when we did our beta tests in the summer of 2018, we had about 10 to 20, serious users, and Charlie was one of those people. So, Charlie, what was your impression of the app?
When I first started using it, I really liked the idea that you could compete against your friends. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that I could see one of your buddies was lifting a lot. Brady, yeah. And that motivated me.
What about the whole just like tracking your workouts? Did you find it helpful to put that data into the app and have that feedback, and find the graphs helpful as far as finding out where to make improvements?
Well, I mean, 100%. Seeing like what you lift at a certain time and seeing yourself grow is a good-ass feeling. You feel good when you see yourself getting stronger. So I like the idea of seeing what you lifted 2 months ago and then what you're lifting now and what your 1 rep max is, 5 rep max or 8 rep max, 12. And so on. And I like the idea that you had these spider charts, what the fuck it's called. It's
a radar chart, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks kind of like spider web.
Yeah. No, I thought that was awesome because I would see myself doing more chests or whatever, for example. And I'd be like, yo, I haven't hit legs in a while, or I haven't hit, back in a while. I'm going to go ahead and do that today.
Yeah,
I need to improve on that.
My leg section would be low too, always, right? You gotta hit them legs.
Skipping leg day is easy.
Yeah,
Leg day is easy. But
you are a strong believer in never skip leg day.
Well, I mean, yeah. Obviously. I mean, my legs are probably like a weaker point just because of my injury, but that motivates me to work it out more. I do legs more than I do any other muscle group just because I want to improve it.
That's an interesting point, though, that we'll dive back into for a second. After you hurt your leg, I remember for a while you would just hit upper body, and you kind of look like one of those big dudes with a big upper body, and then your legs were kind of small, right? Yep. And then over time, you got back into like, okay, I'm gonna actually do squats. How was that jumping back into your legs? I know you had to take it easy at first, but eventually, you're at a place where you're doing squats, right?
Yeah. So it started off where I was a little bit scared to do these exercises because I didn't know how much my leg could take, or I didn't want to hurt it anymore. It started off as a little bit of fear. The best way to get fear is to tackle it head on. You go straight on it. So let's do squats. It's going to hurt. Let's do deadlifts. It's going to hurt your hip. But like the best way to do it is to like just go after it, just straight up. So, I mean, it was uncomfortable at first.
Yeah.
But now doing deadlifts is one of my favorite things to do. And I like squats. Still, my ankle doesn't give enough for me to go all the way down, but I found alternative methods like putting small plates under your heels to do a full quad blasting exercises with a squat.
So you were able to find alternative lifts that allowed you to still work out your legs.
Yeah, while also trying to build myself up where I can do normal squats, which I do now.
Okay, so bringing it back to the app, did you have any complaints, features you would like to see in the future?
Entering exercises with a little bit of a hassle. You have to enter out exactly what you did, and you can enter anything like different variations. It allows for flexibility, but it's a little bit of a hassle.
Yeah.
Whereas as far as just choosing something and it being like a fluid screen, that I think would be a good add.
No, it definitely slows you down, right? Part of the reason I put together this podcast is to kind of put it out there. This app is not our end goal, right? We want to connect up smart equipment and do this automatically. Definitely the version you used 2 years ago took a lot of extra energy to like enter in all this information. And since then, we've put together workouts where now you're not just going into this exercise. You're doing a whole workout, which helps you flow through several different exercises together. So hopefully that will help that problem a little bit, but we still need more workout plans on the actual app. So yeah, you felt it slowed you down a little bit, right?
I felt it slowed me down a little bit. Felt like the data wasn't always accurate. You could enter whatever you wanted. You could enter how many times, but that's up to yourself.
Yeah. As far as people cheating, right?
As far as people cheating,
and the gamification goes,
like your boy Brady would do a ridiculous amount of stuff.
I swear that dude lifted a lot, dude. I swear he wasn't cheating. Yeah, I know. That's kind of the end vision too, right? Is that if I get every aspect of the gym automatically tracked, then the gamification can really blossom, I think, because then you have faith in the technology that no one's cheating, no one can cheat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that you're really up against what other people are doing, because whatever sensors we're using are not going to allow for anyone to enter in, something they didn't do.
Exactly.
So,
agree.
But yeah, so you were a little bit sussed out by the leaderboard and whether people were really doing what they said they were doing.
Exactly.
Even if Brady was doing what he was doing, the fact that you had to question it kind of ruins the competitiveness of it, in a way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to be number one.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be number one, dude.
Yeah.
If you ain't first, you're last, right?
That's the quote. That's what they say.
What are some of your biggest pet peeves in the gym?
Okay, so I obviously hate the people who sit on their phones and just take up machines and stop productivity in the gym and stop the flow and stop people from getting better.
So you don't look at your phone at all?
Well, obviously I do that as well. Everyone's probably guilty of that, but it's just the fact that they're taking their time too much and they're being selfish almost. And I really dislike selfish people in general. It's the most disgusting trait, I think, when someone is
Disgusting,
selfish.
dude. Absolutely
disgusting.
Gross.
Because it's just you value smaller things of your own more than somebody else trying to do something that's important to them. And that bugs me.
So when someone hogs up a machine just to look on their phone.
Yes. Or they'll take a squat rack, right? And it's 5 o'clock. It's crowded. The gym's bustling. People are walking around. People are trying to get machines. People are asking, are you done with that? No, I have 3 more reps, 3 more sets. People are doing that. And they'll take a squat rack and they'll use it for like an hour and a half and do probably 3 sets. And that really bugs me. Just because you're stopping somebody else from bettering themselves and being productive.
Yeah, I don't like it when people are not aware in
Exactly.
anywhere in life, right? You got to be aware of, like, if you're at the gym at 1 a.m. and there's no one else there, take your sweet time, right? But, you know, if there's people waiting on you, okay, maybe.
Exactly. We share this plan with everybody. Another thing that bugs me is the ego lifters.
Okay, what is an ego lifter?
An ego lifter is just somebody who, when they're working out, feels threatened by another person in the gym or tries to do something that they should not be doing just for their own safety. They'll put on a weight that's not safe to do, and then when they do this exercise, they do it wrong, think they can do this weight when they should be building up to it.
So you say these ego lifters, they put on more weight when they feel like threatened, right? How do you know they're threatened? And who are they threatened by? Are they threatened by you, Charlie?
Well, in certain situations, yeah, they're definitely threatened by other people in the gym.
Other people like you, right?
Other people like me or other people who are around them or trying to impress the girl that just walked into the gym. It fuels this idea that you're getting stronger.
If you're doing more weight.
But by doing more weight. And like, I am pretty opposed to that. I believe in doing stuff the right way.
No, I put a lot of emphasis on form, right? I think that you need to do correct form with low weight many, many times over, right? Before you can move up and do higher weight, right? There's no point of jumping up, doing like bicep curls where you're like hip thrusting yourself up and kind of putting your whole body into it, right? Why don't you go down to like a small weight, you know, just use your biceps, feel kind of the pump of only using your biceps, and then move up.
Stretch.
And then if you hit a point where you're pushing your whole hips into it again, well, fucking stop. You know what I'm saying? Just use your biceps, right?
And
And go back down and wait until you're at a comfortable place where you're doing it correctly.
And it's all the energy could be placed into doing something correct and getting a better result out of it.
Okay, and what about screamers? The guys who are like,
Screamers?
ugh!
I actually don't mind screamers.
You think it's necessary sometimes?
I think screaming is a good way to release energy or some sort of negative energy that might be holding back inside you.
Okay. So we were actually lifting partners during college. What do you look for in a lifting partner?
The thing I look for is just not how much you lift or how much you can squat. I really value someone's heart and commitment.
Okay.
If they want to be there, then I want to lift with them.
Okay.
If they have that heart where they just want to keep going and do the extra set and stay the extra 15 minutes just to better themselves or push themselves in a new way, I respect the absolute fuck out of that. And that motivates me. So we balance off each other. We bounce ideas. It all comes down to heart.
So I feel like it's sometimes helpful to work out with someone who lifts about the same amount of weight as you. You think you'd rather have someone with more heart than someone who is perfectly matched on the weight you lift?
I would take somebody who does less weight than I do, as long as they want to be there, over somebody who is strong by nature but just doesn't want to be in the gym.
Okay.
Or doesn't want to just train themselves or better themselves.
Okay, let's take a step away from fitness and working out necessarily. What in life drives you? What gives you motivation? Why do you get out of bed in the morning?
Because I know my potential. That's why I got out of bed. I know what I'm capable of. And if I didn't do that, I would feel bad of myself.
Okay.
So I feel like it's almost like being selfish to not put your all into the things that are important to yourself.
And who motivates you?
So there was a famous bodybuilder by the YouTube persona Ziz. His name was Aziz Shaverson. He became infamous for making these basically like videos where you just show yourself working out, becoming the best person you can, growing, and then just enjoying life and all the benefits that being healthy comes with it.
Okay.
Whether that be trying to impress girls or meeting new people or even going to festivals and shows. He's definitely one of my idols. Because he lived life not really caring what people thought and just being himself. And I value the fuck out of that.
So how do you every day try to make sure that you're on track to like being your happiest or getting the most out of life?
Generally, I don't put a filter on myself.
What does that do?
When I think something, I will express it.
Okay.
And if it's a dangerous thought that could harm other people, I take that into account. You know, I'm not going to say something rude as fuck because that'd be selfish.
Well, what is filtering yourself? What negative effects does that have?
Filtering yourself in general makes you be a fake you that just accommodates to what others want.
Okay.
And I believe we're all individuals. Like every human being is so much different. So we all have to express our differences, and that's what makes us all great as a species. And that's what makes us all grow.
Acknowledging that everyone has a different path, wouldn't you need to filter yourself sometimes to take into account all those different views and mindsets?
Well, yeah. I mean, with certain circumstances, you don't want to be selfish in the act. You don't want to say, "Oh, you're wrong because this," and it's just the way you grew up. But as far as what you're thinking and what you're feeling and your actions and your happiness, don't filter that. Don't filter your happiness.
Yeah.
Don't try and fit a mold just because they want you to fit it. I think just expressing yourself is a good way to come closer together.
You've had this interesting view on eye contact that I always found interesting, where Charlie told me if he notices someone making eye contact with them, he will try very hard not to look away first, right? Can you kind of explain that, I guess?
So I love the idea that at heart, we're all like basically animals living on this earth. We're sharing this earth together. We've obviously developed since then, but we're sharing this earth. And I like the idea that we can show these, I guess, primal instincts while being respectful. In the wild, when animals make eye contact, if you look away, it shows fear. It shows fear, shows you're scared. With certain animals like mountain lions and bears, certain obviously other animals as well, probably majority. If you run away, you turn around, their instinct is to attack you. Their instinct is to go after you. So I believe if you, with eye contact, if somebody looks at you, it's almost like a challenge. And you have to show that in life and in that challenge that they're putting you up right now, you're not going to back down. You're not going to look away and act scared in that situation.
I might make eye contact with someone and I might look away. I might not care that, like, oh, I need to look strong. Why do you think that's important?
So in order for somebody to understand what you've been through and put themselves in your shoes, you have to show who you are as a person, like from the outside. Nobody has like the inside of what you're thinking and stuff. So you have to display that. In order to display that without speaking to someone, it's basically just your body language, right? How tall you stand and how you sit up straight.
There's a book that I read recently where he's basically saying, like, he went into depth about lobsters thousands of years ago. If one of them defeated the other, they would stand up more straight.
Yeah.
And then essentially the one that won the most battles would stand up the most straight and he'd be alpha. And all the other lobsters would respect him just because he stood up straight. Because that meant he won more battles, right?
Yeah.
But as humans, we're more complex than lobsters, right? We can stand up straight. We can make eye contact. We can do things that assert our dominance without actually winning battles or doing whatever. And why not stand up straight? Why not try to assert your dominance in situations where you might not inherently have that sort of dominance?
So you're saying is why not do that? Because we've evolved?
And it's more about confidence, right? It's more about like, okay, now that lobster has confidence, that lobster has respect.
Yeah.
Because it's standing up straight, which means it won battles. But we are smart enough to extrapolate that and be like, hey, I don't need to kill anybody to like stand up straight and make eye contact, right? I can do these certain things with my body that signify I will be respected without actually defeating any lobsters or killing any humans, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about humans, right? We've evolved so much that we can do things that regular species can't. So
why do you need to have dominance?
It's not about dominance. It's just about showing that you are not one to be fucked with. It's also like just showing that when shit gets hard, you're not going to like just back down. Because that attributes to our character and what people see of our character.
So people might think they could take advantage of you.
In my mentality, it's never good to just display weakness in a public setting.
Even though this is a fitness podcast, like I'm coming at this as someone who's not in perfect shape, someone who's learning a lot. And I don't know, you always had this mindset like, I don't take the gym too seriously. I don't fit myself to some specific workout plan or workout regimen. I just kind of go in there and I work whatever muscle needs to be worked, or I do whatever my body needs. Can you kind of explain that not too serious mindset? Because it's not like you would dick around in the gym or anything. Like, you would work out very, very hard, yet you weren't doing it because of some plan, because of some fitness regimen that was provided to you. You would do it because you wanted to.
When you try and like fit a mold, you put a lot of stress on yourself. And stress really can't lead to good things. Stress is like the biggest killer of humans in our spirits and our mindset.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to be like, hey, I'm 215, I got to be 200,
Well,
or I lift 175, I need to lift 215. You kind of have this mentality like every day you go in there with a fresh slate.
the difference between stress and goals regarding trying to get to a certain weight or trying to get to a certain strength is goals. You know you're working towards that, and you know you're not there yet. And stress is like, oh, I should be there. Oh, I should be that. Oh, but I'm not, and I feel bad and I feel guilty. That can lead to a slippery slope. So that's why I said working out, it's not, you shouldn't take it too seriously, but at the same time you got to know what your goals are, right? So if you put too much stress on yourself, then you'll just be negative all the time, and that's never good. Whereas if you're trying to get to a certain goal that you put for yourself, you're like, oh, I put this out for myself, it's my responsibility, and we're gonna work towards it every day. That's the main difference.
With you specifically, working out with you a lot, I noticed that this kind of loose mindset of not putting too much pressure on working out, it allowed you to enjoy the gym a lot more. I feel like when you work out, you enjoy the gym a lot more than other people, which is, I think, is extremely important. I feel like, why do anything in life if you're not enjoying it? You know what I'm saying? And why treat the gym like a chore? Why treat it as one step towards my big goal, which can be helpful, but also why not work on enjoying the gym? Why not get there every day with a fresh mindset of like, hey, what can I do that I'll like to do today? And yeah, if you don't like doing legs and you skip leg day every week, that's going to be bad. Okay, if you don't have such like a stressful mindset towards it, let me just do a little bit of legs and like ease into things. And I don't know, I just feel like you've had a Zen mindset towards working out that in the end of the day you work out a lot more, you end up reaching higher goals than someone else who might have been goal focused going into it.
I always try to have fun in the gym. I love every second I'm in the gym. If you're having fun with something, it doesn't feel like a chore. So if you're there having fun, then you're enjoying the ride. And honestly, the ride is way more fun than the peak.
Oh yeah,
people say that. So you gotta enjoy the journey. You
can fall off from the peak, right? You know what I'm saying?
You can fall off from the peak, but the ride is a way up. As long as you're there doing your shit, it's a way up.
No, I've been working out in our company's gym for the past year and a half, and I just switched to Lifetime, which is like obviously a very nice gym. And it's so crazy, my mentality switched from I hate this shit, like I don't want to be here, to oh, I love being here. Creating an atmosphere where the gym is a place that you want to be there, it just does wonders for your mentality going into it. You know? I used to work out as quick as possible so I could get the fuck home. Now I'm like, hey, let me go chill in the lobby for a minute. I like this place. I chill in the lobby let me go back and work out some more because, I just want to be here longer. And maybe that's picking the right gym for people, but it's also having the right mentality going into it, and not, I don't know, you do a good job of not putting that much pressure on yourself. Yet pushing and progressing yourself based on your own desire to work out. Yeah.
No, I'd have to agree. But I think the biggest flaw people put in themselves is they're too hard on themselves. Like if they didn't do something right or they felt sluggish, they just are like, damn, like today sucked. They just follow this negative spiral. Whereas I think the correct and the better way to approach this mentality is, oh, yeah, today was rough, but tomorrow's a brand new day. And that's why I don't put too much pressure on myself, because if I'm having a shitty day, I'm like, yo, today's a shitty day. It sucks. Some days it's going to be like that, and some days it's going to feel good. And then you go home, you sleep, and you wake up in a different mindset. Stressing yourself out about how good your workout was is just, I don't think it's beneficial to you.
Well, we're about to wrap up soon. What do you do that the people need to hear that might inspire them?
I believe anybody can do it with enough like just willpower and just the want. That want just drives people. I think a little bit of hard work and looking yourself in the mirror and just knowing who you are as a person can just be a catapult to success.
So some strong self-reflection, just admitting where you're at is the most important step to starting your journey, right? How do you go on this journey without knowing where you're truly at with your fitness?
Knowing what you can be and just understanding that some days are worse than others. And don't feel too bad about it, because tomorrow's a brand new day, baby.
Hey, yeah, that's what I'm saying, baby. All right. Well, hey, man, it's been a real honor having you on.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you telling your story. And honestly, it's so motivational to hear someone, who has gone from being mostly, overweight to just completely turning it around and killing it. And I think it does show that anyone can do it. It doesn't matter how out of shape you are. Everyone has the ability to become a Charlie, becomes become someone
better
who
themselves.
Better themselves. Yeah. Become someone who is the best they can be. And I think that you are pretty close to that point, man. You're killing it. And
Absolutely.
I like to see you and your progress in the gym, and it's great to see you here, talking about it, dude.
Absolutely. Hell yeah, Tom. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thanks for coming on.
Of course, dude.
Hell yeah.